Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. This is the first time you're seeing me on camera on this channel. But it's been a couple weeks since I posted a video here. No new tutorials lately, but there are more coming soon. But the reason is two reasons. One, I had COVID, so kind of out for a little bit. And two, I released my first mobile game, Mighty Mini Golf. It was a game I worked on for 2.5 months after quite a while of starting projects, not finishing them, that kind of cycle. But I finally got one. I wouldn't say completely done, but like there's always more you can add to it, right? But I've released it. It's got pretty much all the content I wanted in it, so I could say that it's a finished project. So I guess I'm gonna explain my game a little bit too before we get into what I learned while making the game. But it's a top-down mini golf game, no camera movements or anything, so it kind of restricts the space where I can make levels, but it also interesting when you're trying to make levels. There's 50 levels in the game. They're divided into 5 different worlds. The first 3 are all kind of the same theme, like the classic mini golf, the little green one here. And each world kind of introduces a new mechanic. So world 1 is just kind of basic stuff. World 2 introduces slopes. World 3 introduces moving objects. And then for world 4 and 5, they're the snow themes. So one introduces ice, another one introduces snowballs. So I kind of tried to build a little bit on each world, make it seem like you're progressing a little bit. Each level you can get 3 stars on. Each level there's a certain amount of coins you can collect. There's a lot to do in the game too. There's different balls you can unlock, different power-ups you can use. Kind of classic mobile game stuff in that way. But yeah, I released it on March 25th for Android and iOS. And here are some things that I learned along the way, or things that I found helped me out quite a bit along the way, actually finish a project for once. So my first tip here is get feedback early. So I started this project, I want to say like middle of January, but I made like a quick prototype, just like the ball mechanics, and right away when I had that ready, I went to my friend who's also a game programmer / designer, who helped me out a little bit on the project, and asked him, what do you think of this mechanic? Is this a good mechanic? Will people enjoy playing this? And he said, yeah, gave me a couple things to work on, and I just went from there. And throughout the project, I was always asking for feedback from either him, my other friends who are in game dev, even my family too, who aren't developers, but play games. They know seems right or seems wrong. But getting that early feedback really like cemented that, what I'm working on is gonna be decent, and it just, I guess, motivated me to keep going with the project. The next thing I have here, this might not work for everybody, but it was very important for me, is don't get stuck on one area of the game. So me, I'm mainly a programmer / a little bit of design too. That's where I've done most of my game stuff before. On games I've worked on before, I haven't really done art at all. I've learned a little bit in school, but not really enough to like consider myself an artist. But one of the things that's motivated me in the past on games that I finished for school, when I've worked in teams, is just seeing the game come together with all the art, and it's starting to look good, and you just get really motivated, keep working on it, keep making it better. So as a solo developer for the first time on this project, that part never really came because I was doing all the programming, all the design stuff, but my game didn't look that good. So what I did for this project was I went world by world, kind of. I like made the first world like as a white box, just basic Unity assets, basic textures. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna actually do art for once and see how it looks. And did it. It didn't look too bad. It looked pretty good actually in 3D for my standards at least. And just seeing that come together, the first world come together, motivated me to keep working on it, and I did keep working on it. Maybe 1 week you're doing a lot of the programming, or 1 week you're doing a lot of the art, 1 week you're doing a lot of the design. But what worked for me was just splitting it up, so I'm always doing something different and always staying motivated to keep going and not getting like burnt out on one specific area of the project. Next up, this was a big one. This was the biggest issue I had. Actually, maybe not, but one of the bigger issues I had while working on this project was aspect ratio control. So I was using Unity to make this game, and Unity makes it really easy to control aspect ratios for UI, but I ran into some problems when trying to scale my actual world within the UI. The way my world worked was like, it's like a set top-down view of something, and if the aspect ratio got too skinny. Some phones wouldn't be able to see the edges. But like on tablets and stuff where it got wider. Come up with an idea or a solution to this as quick as you can. You're not like me and it's always in the back of your mind, oh, I still have to fix this. It's gonna take forever. Ended up being a really easy solution. I just played around with the field of view of my camera after trying so many other solutions that just didn't make sense. But definitely plan out what you're gonna do for aspect ratios, what kind of platforms you're gonna target to. Like if you're gonna not put the game on tablets, for example, don't worry about tablet aspect ratios, but just make sure your game's gonna work on everything you're releasing it for. Also, planning ahead. A lot of this is gonna be planning ahead, I guess, but if you're planning to release on iOS, get ready for it. I personally have just a PC right now. A lot of the people who I'd be able to promote the game to, like my friends, family, they have iPhones, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna put out this game on iOS no matter what it takes. I have access to a Mac, so that was useful. Also be aware that a developer license costs like 125 Canadian, 100 US I think, for iOS, and then it's like 25 for the Android one. And there is a lot of things that go into releasing on iOS. Of course, like I said before, you need to have a Mac so you can build it in Xcode. You need to have an iOS device, so an iPad or iPhone, iPod too, if that works. But to make a provisioning profile, you need an iOS device. And there's also some restrictions that Mac has too, or not Mac. There's also some things that iOS has too that will be different from Android, some different requirements. For example, app tracking transparency, like I have on the screen there. You won't have to implement that for Android, but for iOS, it's a requirement. The first time I submitted my app, it got rejected because I didn't have it. So make sure you read into that. There's lots of tutorials on YouTube. I might even make one myself at some point. All right, next up, we've got another like harsh truth, I guess. You probably won't make a lot of money. I'll do a little reveal here. I've got underneath this stock image here, I have how much I made on this game, and it's been a week and a half, I think. A big 29 cents. You know, I'm close to retirement, I think, but not quite there. But my game uses Unity ads. It doesn't force any ads really on anybody. It shows banner ads in the menus, but those make next to nothing. Rewarded ads that display if you want to earn more coins in my game, that do earn the most money, but my game is small enough that not a lot of people are clicking those, I guess. So yeah, I made 29 cents so far, which, you know, I'm okay with. And I think you have to be okay with that if you're gonna be putting out a mobile game with no budget, because, you know, there's other things I can use this game for. I can use it as part of my resume now, put it on my website to show that I have done mobile game dev. Oh, it's cool to say you have an app out on Android and iOS. But there definitely is things I could have done to try to make more money. But I also didn't want to be annoying with my advertisements either in this game. So if you put in like interstitial ads and, you know, force people to watch ads more, then you might make a little bit more, but it all comes down to how many people download your game. And that comes down to having a marketing budget pretty much. So don't expect to make anything. And then if you do make something, then it's finally, last kind of point here, have fun with it. There's been some projects I've started where, you know, I haven't had fun at all, so that's why I haven't continued them. But as I was making this, I was like talking to my friends about it, you know, telling my family about it. People were getting excited. I was getting excited. And for the first time since I released a game on Steam last year with my team from school, you know, I was actually excited about game dev. So it was good for me to get back into it. It was good to add to my portfolio, maybe help me get a job. But if you realize you're not having fun with the project, you know, maybe it's time to like look at it and be like, okay, do I really want to work on this game? Or am I just doing this because, you know, I started it and I want to force myself to finish? Don't force yourself to finish projects. If you're not enjoying it, if you're thinking it's not going in the right direction, then, you know, don't finish it. But come up with the next idea and see how it goes. Actually, I do have one more point, I think. Download my game. Of course, I'm kidding. There's supposed to be a download on Google Play and App Store here, but if you do want to help me out, you want to support me, you can go look up Mighty Mini Golf on iOS or Android. I'll have links in the description too. It would help me out a little bit, but of course, if you don't like golf or don't want to play it, that's okay. You don't have to. But yeah, that'll be it for this one. A little bit different from the other videos I've done. Not a tutorial, it's more of a look back on what I've done in the last 2.5 months working on this game and kind of how it went after I released it. I will have a couple more tutorials coming soon. I have another game in the works already too that I'm pretty excited about, that I'm going to show. Maybe I know somebody requested a leaderboard tutorial, so that'll be coming soon, I think. And then somebody requested a joystick for mobile tutorial too, which I might get to at some point, but that's going to be a little bit later on, I think. But as always, if there's any videos or tutorials you want to see from me, let me know in the comments. If you did play the game, let me know what you think of it. And yeah, that'll be it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Okay, it's nice to see you on camera this time.